is excellent. 73 to 80% is quite enviable for a small to medium enterprise, and we want to keep that going. We also see you have a stable subscriber base. While it may fluctuate from year to year, you have a relatively constant supply of subscribers that subscribe to the program. And we see that there's a very innovative outlook within the company. So with the company moving where it is with the succession planning, it's important to be innovative and try and search for solutions that reflect best in the company. And we see that you're looking to do that with your current direction.
So areas where you can improve your social media presence. You can get more out there with even Facebook, Twitter, Vines, more in the market that way, just to gain even more subscribers than you already have, as well as reducing the redundant tasks, which we mentioned previously. No more paper-written invoices, everything done into the system right away, and it can be done in real time from any computer. So that's how you can reduce your tasks.
And some things we want to watch out for are funding limitations. We know it's hard for farms that are already in operation to get funding from the government. So in choosing a solution, we're making sure that the cost is effective. We're also looking at resource consumption. Farms are very central to their working habits. We don't want to be spending resources on things that are not directly profit related. So we want to ensure that our solution is efficient in its implementation time.
And areas where you can grow include your systems efficiency. So like I said before, integrated systems, integrated modules, finances, delivery, inventory, customer management, your customer relationship inputs that you have, the client information database, all of that will be integrated, making all of your systems and business processes flow a lot more effectively and a lot more efficiently. So these are areas where you can grow in your organization.
Now, in looking at the positioning, we see that you have more of a personalized service offered to your consumers. So you can customize the type of basket you want, and you can also make additions or removals for the type of produce and fruits that are in the basket. We also see that it's more of an innovative view compared to the traditional view. You can pay in advance, you can have specific drop-off locations, and you can choose the specific fruits and vegetables that you want in your basket. We think this is a great position right now, and we seek to go even higher in this position.
So some of the alternatives that you can look at is, first, you can continue to develop the Microsoft Access solution that you have right now, and work with that and market that to the other firms in the CSA model. Or you can implement a custom off-the-shelf solution, which is selecting a vendor and seeing who might fit with you the best, and work with them to integrate your financial system, which you currently already have. And the final one is develop something completely from scratch with the programmer that you're working with, and have an integrated model that way. So those are the three alternatives that we're looking at. And we've based them on these decision criteria. So which will offer the integrated information? Microsoft Access solution doesn't offer it because it's not integrated with your other financial databases. The custom off the shelf, it will. Once you get this rolling out and have the systems integrated together, you will see that all of your information is integrated in real time, and the proprietary development will as well. The tasks will not be reduced with Microsoft Access, since you'll be having to input things in different modules, and the processes will not be speaking with each other, but you will see it with the other two solutions, as well as optimized business processes with the custom off-the-shelf and the proprietary development. With the proprietary development, you can customize it to be exactly how you would like it. However, this takes a lot of time and a lot of money to do. As well, there won't be other support and training resources, since it's something that you've made yourself. Whereas the custom off-the-shelf, there will be training and support out there if you need to reach out or call for extra help, and it's not going to crash on you and leave you stranded in the dust. Also, the implementation time. Since you're already working with the Microsoft Access database, it's going to be a smaller implementation time. The custom off-the-shelf is also going to be a lot less time-consuming than developing something from scratch. And customization is more difficult with the Microsoft Access solution. whereas with the custom off the shelf, there is area for customization. And of course, if you're customizing your own solution from scratch, you will be able to completely customize it. And user friendliness. It was mentioned with the Microsoft Access solution, it is difficult to train new employees with because it's tedious. So that's not a very user-friendly interface, whereas the other two would be a lot more user-friendly, and it'd be a lot easier to train new employees and bring them on board with that.
Now moving on to the recommendation. Basically it's just like the fact that when I told my friend that I wanted to go over to Europe backpacking, he recommended that I take a Swiss Army knife with me because it had all the tools I needed. So we've seen the whole analysis of Compagnie-Pal right now, which is why we're making the recommendation that Compagnie-Pal license a small-scale ERP solution integrating business information and improving customer relations.
So in looking at the positioning here, midway between innovative and personalized, in being committed to your customers to always provide the best solution, we hope to move you a little further up to innovative, streamlining your processes and making it more efficient. Customers can know where their shipments are with the distribution customization onto the system, as well as small businesses buying your products, such as IGA, can track the shipments in live time to know exactly when they're coming in. They can also look at if there's delays due to weather, forecasting, and whatnot, and they can also look at a dashboard to see what is coming in.
Now on to the implementation. This is basically like when I went out to buy that Swiss Army knife so I could use. We're showing you how you can use this tool of an all-in-one tool to the best advantage of Compagnie-Pal. Now we split our timeline into 3 phases. The first is our urgent phase, and this is from 0 to 3 months. Then we move on to our progressive phase, which is about from 3 to 12 months. And then phase 3 is the continuous phase, which is 12 plus months. We plan to start this in February 2014, which means that the 3-month mark is May 2014, and then the year plus mark is February 2015.
So in our first phase, you might be thinking, I keep talking a lot about integrating all of these different modules, and what is she saying? Well, in the first phase, we're going to clearly define the project scope. So what exactly it means to integrate these modules, and how they're going to work together, as well as setting clear milestones for you to follow along, ensure that you're not running behind schedule, and ensure that everyone's on the same page. We're also going to do the requirements gathering to get the data prepared for how you're going to integrate it, and maybe tweaking different business processes so that it can work out well with these new integrated modules. And finally, a vendor selection that's going to best meet these needs, that will help you integrate them best and offer the support and training that you can use for your employees.
Our second phase, the progressive phase, this is where a lot of the programming is going to happen. Actually, all of the programming is going to happen here. Now, we list this phase as a little longer, 3 to 12 months, because we do want to get the full program built and implemented here. We want to have it as an agile implementation, so a rolling implementation, where small steps are implemented and tested, and then we move on to the next one. This ensuring that inherent old flaws don't move along with you to the next step of the process. We also ensure that the testing is done properly and efficiently and documented as well, because we're dealing with a lot of legacy data from the Microsoft Access database. So what we would do is we'd have the new system in place while still maintaining the old system. When the new small-scale ERP is fully tested, then we can work on moving the legacy data into the system so that we don't throw too much on the table at once without everything working exactly as how we need it. This step also will comprise user training. So we go through, we can consult with the knowledge management firm to look at user training and ensure that all the employees that need to access it know exactly how and are able to when they need to, such as kiosks and booths. And it'll also comprise our launch. A relatively straightforward step after the building's done. The launch is our go live of the product, hopefully with the legacy data then being slowly integrated and cleaned as we go.
In the final phase, where you can see the you're going live, as well as feedback from employees, from customers, make tweaks where necessary. You can prepare a solution to license to other CSA firms. So this is where you can use your expertise doing this before any other farms do and help them do the same thing. This will be 12 plus months after you get on your feet with the implementation yourselves. You can assist in other farms to do the same thing and market the field-specific solution.
Now, in looking at how much this would cost, basically for the whole phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, we look to hire a consultant from a consultant firm such as AFI Consulting that specializes in taking what the client needs and helping them evolve from where they are to where they can go. Now, the reason we chose to also hire consultants is the fact that you can reap more benefits from hiring an outsider to come in, look at your company, and do what they do best, which is create a solution for you. The average consultant cost is about $100 an hour, so this would be a variable depending on how long it takes the consultant to do it, which is why we have prepared an overall budget. So basically we see the cost of this system to be $500,000 overall. So this includes the licensing fees, which would be about at 40%, adjusting the solution for fit, so just tweaking it to fit the farm itself, so that would be 6%. Then changing just the infrastructure of the whole company, that will be about 20% for the farm. Training employees will be about just 4% of total cost since there's only 2 employees currently using it at Companion File. And for marketing, since it is an idea that you can take this system and just market it to other people in the long term, we have that at 30% of total cost since we could start that once the system's in place. Another important thing to note is the funding for this, to cover this total cost, can be found perhaps in partnering with companies such as IGA, since it's a big trend right now in the food industry for people to know where their food is coming from, so that they can make sure it's healthy for their bodies and basically it's good for the environment. Also, since Quebec has recently launched a food sovereignty policy, this is also a good trend because there are many customers who now want to buy food that they know where it grows and they know that it's good for the environment. Even though this may seem like a lot, since the current position of Companion Pal is the fact that they're still paying off startup cost debt from the 1990s, it's important to note the fact that academic studies done by the Ivy School of Business has shown that companies that aren't using modern technology right now are losing about 46% of net income every single year, which is why this cost, although $500,000 may seem like a lot, it's going to pay off in the long run. We see the return on investment to be about 25%, since we see the expected return in the first year to be $625,000. Go ahead.
Some risks that you might come into is the easier step is to the new program. You might take some time to get used to using the new software, as well as issues adjusting to new business processes. Things are going to change the way you do things just a little bit, but it will be more efficient in the long run. And finally, client information security. Integrating data into a new system, there's always risks of client security or data security. However, you can mitigate these risks by ensuring correct permissions and access to all of your systems. And the first two can be mitigated by ensuring intense user training, being able to clarify concepts and questions as best you can. Some key performance indicators that you will realize is 25% increase in ROI, as Michelle had mentioned. We expect to see only 0.5% of redundant entrants, since you will only be entering things into the system directly. And we're hoping for an 80 to 90% customer retention rate.
All in all, we are here to present a solution to allow Companion Pal to increase efficiency and improve customer relations, which is what we did since we've incorporated the tools of system access, integrating units, and the other two, such as client communication and reducing redundant tasks, to create an all-in-one tool as good as the Swiss Army knife.
Thank you.
Yeah! T'as pas de questions?
J'en ai une.
Ok, non, vas-y. Je laisse parler les autres.
Since you're going online or in the cloud, I guess. Are you thinking of allowing or providing customer access to the new system?
Yes, so part of the small-scale ERP we're implementing will have an online component, and that would be a portal for consumers and the businesses that buy from Campani Farm to access the data that is concerning them. So they can do address changes, they can update things like that. They can also track shipments that are on their way. Because it is a week by week, obviously weather delays can affect that. So they can online, they can access certain things. They don't need to access everything. But there's certain things that concern them, such as their personal information, they can change and update for deliveries and whatnot.
All right, thanks.
Do you want to commercialize this platform? Do you want that La Ferme commercialize that, or do you want?
Yeah. So the end goal after implementing it for Campagne Farm is that they can take the solution and then market it to the other CSA farms. There's 75, I believe, other CSA farms that rely on this model, and because this software is very specific, we think that it can benefit them very well, and it will provide kind of a steady stream of revenue for Campagne Farm, for them to have these licensing fees coming in from the other CSA farms from the solution that they sell to them.
Okay, and I have a question about the budget. You were talking about licensing for $125,000. So it means that you want the farm to buy the license instead of like being in the cloud, like software as a service. Can you explain it for me, why you choose this path?
Well, basically the reason we chose to license is because the idea behind why we chose the solution is because why would you pick something and we'll create something if another already exists that's working? So that's why we chose to license it and then tweak it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.